Hi, this is Thomas from the Mongo team, and today I will talk to you about the presets support that you have in Lychee Slicer. We had multiple comments and questions on social medias, and I wanted to explain a little bit how it's working. I have on screen the bullet model from Lord of the Print. I put the link in description. This is a free model. It's a really great model. And about the supports, as you may have seen, in Lychee Slicer we have the light, medium, and heavy presets. These presets define the size of the diameter, the tip diameter, and the tip length. And if you have a Pro subscription, you also have the control on just the tip by itself and multiple parameters, the medium section, bass section, and based on the type of support, also the base tip, and I will come back to that later. Then let's just go back to the global settings, which applies for both versions of Lychee Slicer. The first step for me will be to create few supports. Then let's go something like that. I don't really care, but as you can see, supports are trying to go as much as possible around the model. As you may have seen, I'm in light settings, and when I created these three supports, they have been created with the light preset parameters. Then you see a diameter of 1 millimeter and a tip diameter of 0.3 millimeters. Okay. If I click now on another support, whatever the support I click, the value remains the same. Right now, what you see in the parameters are the current selected support parameters. If I change the diameter, let's say I'm going to 1.1, like that, the preset color change to be a darker color, and you have a small star next to the name. It means that right now, the selected support is very close to the default light preset, but it's not anymore the full light preset settings. It's very, very close. Okay, then if I click again in light, you see that my support change of shape and revert to the previous diameter. Then if you change slightly some values, let's say I'm changing the tip diameter to be a little bit smaller or bigger, it means that it changed. But if at some point I'm changing a little bit too much the setting, you see I'm increasing the values or decreasing, just notice that below the preset also change. It means that each time you are doing some modifications in the parameters of your supports, Lychee Slicer is looking about, okay, which preset is the closest one. Then if I'm increasing too much the value, it means that right now, this diameter means that I'm very close to the medium preset. Then if I'm clicking on the medium preset now, okay, I switch to the default one and it uses the default medium values. Then that's why you have this change of colors. But each time you press on one of these light, medium, or heavy, Lychee Slicer will use the values in the preset to change and override what you enter as a value here. And this is really values that you can set like that for each settings. Something that you have to understand and keep in mind when you are working with supports, it's the way really it's working and not only this preset. Let's say I'm going back to the light setting for this support and say, okay, I would like to have a different, let's say, diameter, which is slightly bigger, a tip size, which is bigger as well, and increasing the length of the tip. Okay, I like that. And this support is selected. Now, each time I will create a new support, it will use the same values. Okay. Each time you are starting to create new supports, Lychee Slicer will use the previous selected support values as a base to create the new supports. Okay. It means that if now I'm clicking on this support, you see this one has been selected. The values are different because it's a different support. And if I'm creating a new support, it will use as well this value. That's why it's very, very important to consider that each modification you will apply on a support, all the new support that you will create will start from these values. I'm selecting this one now, you see the value change. And if I'm doing new supports, it will use the same values, okay? And if I'm deselecting the model and going back, same thing, it keeps the values. If you want to revert to your stored settings, then you need to deselect the support. Okay, now I want to have a light one, and then I can create a light one. Or if it's a heavy model, okay, like that, I can deselect, go back to medium or light, or going back to heavy, and now this one will be and heavy supports. But what happens if you have some settings and you say, okay, this one I want to be my new medium value, or changing some more settings, a bigger tip diameter, tip length even higher, and this one is my new medium or light. You have to go in the custom button, and here you have a small drop down and click on override preset medium. Perhaps we will rename that to save as medium presets in the future. Okay, I click on override preset medium. Okay, and you see now this one becomes the preset color. It's not anymore the darker color for the preset button with the small star, but just the default button. Okay, if I'm setting this one and clicking on medium, now it's using this setting. Okay, if I'm clicking on heavy, it goes to heavy, to light, or go back to medium, or I want to change the tip diameters, tip length, and say, oh no, I want to revert to my own medium one. You can click on medium and then you revert to your own values. And if you want to revert to the default settings of Lychee Slicer, you can go back in custom, reset preset medium. Okay, and now you see it's defined. Okay, it's close to medium one, but it's not a real official medium one. I'm clicking on the medium button and I'm back to the default values of Lychee Slicer. Then just to summarize everything, you have the default settings and presets for light, medium, and heavy that you can apply on the selection. If you change a value to one of the selected support, each time you will create a new support with this one selected first, and then the next one and other one, it will create a support based on the previous selection that you have. You can save each support settings by overriding the default preset light, medium, and heavy. And of course, you can reset to the default application value. But don't forget that if you select a support, you are modifying this value for the selected support. If you want to go back to the previous settings, you can deselect, clicking on, let's say, light, and now the future one will be light presets. I didn't explain things about the Pro version with tip, medium, and base settings, but it's exactly the same thing. If you are changing some values on the base or the medium sections or the tip section or changing the shape or whatever, you will use these settings for the next support you will create. If you are saving your current parameters as new preset, it will also store all of these values. And if you reset, it will go back to the default application value. Then I hope all of this information about the support preset help you about creating more supports. If you like this video, please let us know in comments, like the video, and we'll try to do more and more videos, this type of vlogs video or support video to help you mastering Lychee Slicer. Thank you very much and happy 3D printing!